Troll comments. Every YouTuber knows them all too well. Let me read you a few of them. Come on, man. I don't even know how it ended. Were the final sentences told in sign language? For the love of God, speak up! So this was for a video I did very early on in my career, and yes, my sound used to be a bit lower, the audio wasn't as good, I wasn't using a good mic, I'm sorry, but yeah, that was for a really old video I did. Second troll comment. Sorry, man. A 30-minute, unedited, unprepared rant that you know nothing about is not really good YouTube content. Besides, audio only is boring. This is a video streaming site. It could have been chopped to 10 minutes and would have been fine, but again, 30 minutes of hearing a guy who knows nothing about the subject and is fumbling all over the place is about as interesting as staring at a wall. So this was for a podcast I did. It's called the Unedited Podcast for a reason, because it's supposed to be like that. But I was talking about the deep web, and this guy obviously doesn't understand the concept of an unedited podcast. Anyways, don't go looking for these guys. Please don't, okay? What was your worst troll comment that you've sent or read or written up yourself? Put it in the comments below. Grab a blanket, turn off your lights, and let's get ready for troll comment horror stories. Internet trolls. I'm going to post something that I don't really talk about, but I like to get it off my chest. Rewind to 2010 when I was 13. My mom had cancer over the summer and I was pretty down and scared about it, so I turned to the internet. Facebook had a community of trolls, behind fake accounts of course. They were trolling an emo page I was a member of, but eventually everyone on there became friends, and it became more of a private group where we could post discussion posts and hang out together. I don't know what it was I said or did, but one of the trolls really didn't like me. I don't know his real name, age, where he lived or anything, but he knew my real name and age, and somehow managed to find out my address. I don't know much about doxing, but what I do know is that this guy managed to send a shitload of pizzas to a house a few doors away thinking it was my house, and then found out my luckily old phone number. He also gained control of my MSN account, Facebook account, Xbox, and YouTube. He would comment horrible things on people from my school statuses and get access to my personal emails and messages, even though everything had different usernames and passwords. I was lucky that I met a guy on that group who helped me out and get my account back and kept me sane throughout the whole thing. We dated for a few months online, but because of the distance we had to end it. To this day, I don't know how I got through it all without him. I was so young and I thought it would be the end of the world and I couldn't think rationally about what to do, but he was a little older, and I got the accounts back by emailing the social networks and explaining what had happened. There was also another guy who somehow found out this troll would send a lot of pizzas to my house, and I'm never sure how or why he knew, but I'm glad he told me, so I could understand how serious this was. After blocking this guy on several accounts, he disappeared off the face of the earth, and to this day, I'm still so paranoid he'll come back and do it all again. I don't know what I did to piss him off, why he'd choose to do that to a 13-year-old girl on the internet, but it was a horrible thing to go through. My parents didn't really understand what had happened, or the severity of it when I explained. Missed connections. I am a 25-year-old guy. This happened 4 years ago. It is still unresolved, if you would like to call it that. This was a Friday night, and I'd gotten off work around 5:30 p.m. and was ready to make plans for the night. I was recently single, and with asking readers not to judge, I had made up for lost time. I met a few nice girls, new girls, but most other single girls I knew didn't think my breakup was for real because my girlfriend and I had been together for such a long time. And As the type to kind of stay away from clubs, I began to explore online dating. While at home, I started looking at girls near me at POF. For some reason that night, I really wanted to be in the company of a woman, and the hour I spent with no suitable response began to wear my patience down. I eventually looked at Craigslist and posted a personals ad. Now, I know Craigslist is not the best place to meet people, but at this point, I was thinking with my other head, if you know what I mean. I went out for an hour or two, and when I returned, I noticed I had some responses to my ad, mostly spam, obvious escorts, and catfish. I may have been desperate, but I wanted someone I felt comfortable with, on a friend and personal level. After weeding out, I saw one response that looked legit. I could tell she had read the ad, as it was an actual written response. She even included a few pics, all of which looked normal. She was cute, but didn't look like a model or from a magazine or anything like that. They just looked like selfies she took herself. In hindsight, there was something about this that I didn't catch at first, which is important to the rest of the story. I used a dummy email for CL, and I had to set it up that pictures do not download automatically. I learned my lesson after posting an ad for a table and getting a dick pic. However, these pics showed up right away as soon as I opened the email. This will tie in later. After some back and forth, I decided I'll come over. She gives me the address and I see that it is an apartment building. Even better, as I'm always thinking of safety. I didn't want to go inside an actual home. I get there, and I email her that I am outside. Just give me the exact building and apartment number. She tells me get out and walk to the courtyard, so I can make sure I am who I'm saying I am. Understandable. I said I was 5'11". It would be scary on her end if I was 6'5" out there, right? After seeing that it was truly me, she says she has to tell me something. I'm thinking the worst, and start to think of what it could be. She then tells me, I'm really a man. I'm sorry. Now I'm pissed, and that washes over immediately as I just feel played. I am prepared to take my loss and quickly head back to my car when I get more emails. He tells me to come inside and that he can give me money or cook or have drinks or whatever. He sounds like he really just wants the company, but I am sorry. I'm not just chilling with some guy. He then sends me the last email that simply says, $200, 2 hours, no touching, no sex. It catches my eye, and I walk up to his door. Stupid, I know, but at this point, I am thinking I'll just take this $200, maybe knock over some of his things for tricking me, and just leave. My better judgment gets the best of me, thankfully, and about 5 feet from the door, I turn around and leave. I decided that this was a sign that I needed just to stay at home for the night. I stopped at a 7-Eleven to grab a beer. I get back to my car and start reading through Facebook. All of a sudden, I get a Facebook message from someone I don't know, who I can tell is a fake profile saying, I'm sorry, can you please come back? I get upset of the nerve of this guy, and then the air escapes from my throat. How did he get my personal Facebook? I used a fake email that has no ties whatsoever to my real name. I message him back, leave me alone, I apologize, I'm not interested. The man then threatened me by saying something along the lines of, you should listen, my name, of my job. It was listed on my Facebook, but it was my first ever camp job before college, so I didn't really mean much. I told the man either stop, or I'm coming back with some help to make you stop. I didn't get any more messages after that. I deleted the Facebook messages, deleted my email account, and went home. 2 days later, I am on my computer when again I get a Facebook message from the guy that says, black shirt. I don't even begin to give the time of day to decipher that, and I delete the message, I block the man. 10 seconds later, I come to the realization that I am wearing a black V-neck. I look out the window as if I am suspecting someone to be peering inside, when I remember I am on the 11th floor of a high-rise building. There's only one way in, and the door has a strong deadbolt lock. Whenever I come in, I quickly close and lock the door due to my pet, so I knew there was no one physically in my place with me. I am startled, but I brush it off as a scare tactic. I bet like 6 in 10 guys right now are wearing a black shirt. The man just seemed like a lonely troll, and I'm sure he was doing this to everyone who felt trapped to his Craigslist scheme. I closed my computer and went on with my day. 2 days later, I am sitting back at my computer per usual, when once again, the guy messages me. I already know it's gonna be nonsense, so I'm gonna do a mark as read or delete, so he cannot see that I read it. I see the partial message that says, black and red globe. I literally scoot my chair back and stare at my computer right behind me. I'm sure reflecting in my screen, if the light would have it, sat a globe with black water and red land. A friend got it for me because it was different. I understood right away this man could access my webcam. I then thought back to my original email. He penetrated my picture firewall, and he somehow tied my fake email to my real name. I'm pretty good with computers, but I am the first to take note when I'm dealing with someone who is a genius with computers. This man gave off every vibe that he knew what he was doing in the computing world, and maybe even the hacking world. I slam it shut and pace around the room, mumbling to myself that I had been so careless to get in a position like this. I run to a drawer and scramble for the black electrical tape. I find some and place it over the cam. I am officially freaked out at this point. I am not a tough guy by any means, and I can hold my own in most situations, but I felt out of control. I delete my Facebook account and every other social media account as well. I spend the next 10 minutes privatizing my online presence and cleaning out my computer. I keep the tape on and try to get on with my week. 2 days later, I come home from work at around 6 p.m. I come in and close the door and greet my pets. I see a white piece of paper that was slid under my door. This usually meant maintenance had a project going on, we were late on rent, or the elevators were broken. We got a lot of those elevator letters. I pick it up and place it on the table as I get my dog to stop jumping on me and put my bag down. I pick up the note and it says, Blue Doormat. To give you some background information, during a drunken escapade, my ex and I bought a bright blue doormat that we were both 100% certain was green and would match the green carpet outside our door. When we both sobered up the next morning, we realized how off we were and decided to keep it as a joke. This man had been inside my building and at my door. The thing is, it was a big building. You would need to know building number, address, floor number, and apartment number. My dog wasn't going crazy, but I ran into the kitchen and grabbed a knife. I swung the main closet doors open. Nothing. I run to the bedroom and swing those closet doors open. Once again, nothing. I race in the bathroom and open the shower curtain. Nothing. The man had not been inside, but he had been close enough. I am not the type to call the police, but I felt like I didn't know what to do. After sleeping on it, I call 911 the next day and ask for non-emergency. After a hold, I am connected to a lady and tell her what's going on. She says she can't do anything, but gives me the number to the police of the city where the man lived. I called and speak to an officer and basically tell him I'm not going to try to press charges or anything, but can someone please go over there and scare him or something? I could tell the cop wanted to do nothing with me, but I kept his ear probably because he could hear a rational young man basically pleading with him to help him. He said it would send someone out there. I get a call a few hours later from the station. The cop I spoke to before says there was no answer at the door. He told me he wanted to speak to the leasing office, and the sales manager said the only person who lived there was an older lady who had been there forever. I froze for a moment. The guy wasn't even at that apartment when I came there. I started to think, was he in a different apartment? Was he waiting in a car? behind a tree somewhere in the courtyard? I personally think he was somewhere inside a neighboring apartment just watching. However, I never felt so careless. The cat told me to reactivate my account and wait for another message. I did that for a month or so before shutting it down for good, before making another one. I just felt more comfortable that way. I've never had another encounter. I've since moved and got a new computer. I got the courage to go up to that apartment twice. The first time I didn't get a response when I knocked. The second time, I was greeted by an older lady. Similar to what the cop told me, I told her what happened, and she assured me that she had no sons or nephews or anything. She left me with a lecture telling me to be safe. That was 4 years ago. I'm 25 years old now, and I look back on my 21-year-old self. I would never even consider meeting someone online like that now. Please, if it seems sketchy, it is sketchy. So, guy using a young lady's picture to lure young men to his apartment. Let's not meet again. So, troll from the internet. Let's not meet. URL or IRL. Crazy sadistic internet stalker. So, like many people on here, I've been lurking on here for quite a while now. After reading many interesting and horrifying stories, I decided to share one of my own. Name in this particular stories have been changed. It was December, and Christmas was right around the corner. It was late, around 3 a.m. or so. I was sick, so I was on a strange sleep schedule at the time. I was bored and none of my friends were online, so I decided to venture into a site called Omegle. I went on there quite often at the time, mainly to troll people, but tonight, I decided to have some actual conversations with people. Big mistake. So I decided to talk to people under the anime tag, because people on there seem generally cool for the most part. I eventually find someone who isn't a bot, and who doesn't immediately ask ASL, meaning age, sex, location. We'll call her Azula. Azula asked me what my favorite anime is, and I jokingly said, Fat Albert. I knew I said I didn't want to troll, but I couldn't help myself. A conversation ensues after that about anime and such, and she seems like a genuinely decent person. She then asked for my email. I gave her my spam email, knowing that there's no real harm in giving that out. So we continued our chat in a Google Plus Hangout. She starts to ask to video chat. I declined, telling her that I don't even voice chat with real-life friends. But she keeps persisting, and I keep telling her no. I was starting to think that she was actually some pedophile. I told her that I don't feel comfortable revealing my face to anyone online, and I really don't want to voice chat. She then says she'll send me a picture of her face if I send her a picture of mine, so I let her send hers first. I then did a reverse image search to see if the photo was fake. Nothing came up anywhere, so I figured that it wasn't fake. So reluctantly, I took a picture of myself and sent it to her. I figured it couldn't do any harm. She then kept persisting to video chat. I kept telling her no. I then turned my computer off because I was tired and annoyed. I didn't really think much about it, but I was planning on blocking her the next day. A day later, I get on my computer and was about to block her, but as soon as I got on, she messaged me immediately. At this point, I thought she was either stalking me or had no life and was at her computer all day, so I went ahead and talked to her. She apologized for being pushy and explained that she didn't have many friends and just wanted to get to know me. I said it was fine. So we talked about anime, as well as video games and such, a normal conversation for me. The next day we talked again. She wants the video chat. I told her that I'd voice chat, since I did that all the time. Once we were in the voice call, she kept asking to turn my camera on. Her camera was on, so at this point, I was sure she wasn't a 40-year-old man. I told her that I didn't feel comfortable doing that. She said that she wanted me to video chat to make sure I wasn't some 40-year-old pedo. My voice was quite deep, so I understood why. So again, reluctantly, I turned camera on. After that, everything seemed to be okay. I could tell there was something wrong, but I figured she was just socially awkward. After that, things were okay for a few weeks, but one day, she randomly told me that she had a crush on me. I told her that I don't do online relationships, and she got really depressed after that. She kept saying how every guy, 5 in total I believe, has turned her down, and she's really sad about it. I didn't really know what to do at this point. I felt really bad for her because I knew how it felt to be rejected, and how awkward it is to stay friends with them afterwards, so I made one of the dumbest mistakes of my life. I said that, actually, I did like her back. Nowadays, there's no way in hell I would have done any of this, but I was 14 at the time. I was young and dumb, so just keep that in mind. So I basically was in a fake, fabricated online relationship at this point. I didn't consider her my girlfriend, and only one of my friends, we'll call him Eric, even knew about her existence. In fact, one day he was in a group chat with us. That's when things started to get strange. In the group chat, we had a decent conversation, but it got weird after I left. Azula started asking Eric about personal questions about myself. Eric gave her the runaround, telling her that she should be asking me the stuff. She was asking questions like what my last name was, where I lived, etc. Eric didn't tell me about this, but I saw in the group chat. I thought it was really strange that she would ask him these questions, knowing that I would see them when I got back. Anyways, at this point, she kept asking me what my last name was. Remember, Azula was very persistent, and she wouldn't stop asking a question even if you decline. So I find out that she goes on Facebook and searches every person with the same first name as I do. My name is fairly common. There's a lot of people on there with my first name. I couldn't believe it. She spent days trying to find my Facebook. I've never seen so much dedication. Red flags were definitely going off at this point. She eventually finds my Facebook and sends me a friend request. I declined it because I was very pissed that she was invading my privacy. She then started messaging me on Google Hangouts, asking me about my family members. She literally wrote down a list of all of them, asking them how they were related to me. I got really scared at this point. I knew I had a stalker and I did not know what to do. I blocked her on everything and deleted everything on the net that had my real name in it. I had officially went rogue. She eventually emails me on another email of mine. Don't ask me how she found it, I honestly have no idea. Perhaps it was on my Facebook before I deleted it. Anyways, she spams that email with countless messages per day. I blocked her and the email stopped. I didn't hear from her for about a month. Then one day, I accidentally delete an important email. So I went to my trash to recover it. In my trash were hundreds of emails from her. I nearly soiled myself in fear. The last email was from that day, so in morbid curiosity, I read some of the emails. What I found was nothing short of frightening. She told me that she thinks there's something wrong with her, and that she enjoys and gets off on the pain of others. And she said that she knows where I lived and was gonna fly over here and live with me. I was so scared at this point, I was honestly worried that she was going to kill me. I deleted that email account and have been off the grid ever since. So, crazy sadistic stalker on the internet, let's not meet ever again.